Alright, so I'm doing this by myself, I guess, but I think it will work. It's a GTX 1050 bought off of eBay from China. As you can see, there's absolutely no indication on the box, the actual cardboard printing of what the card is, with the exception of this sticker, as well as, well, that's it, just that sticker. Definitely says made in China. Just says CUDA. It says Windows 7 ready. 1050 you would think would definitely also say Windows 10 ready. It doesn't. There is no plastic or anything holding the box together. Inside we have two little screws for the case, two 3-pin Molex to 6 adapter. I assume this is a driver CD. Oddly enough, the driver CD has both NVIDIA GeForce and AMD Radeon. Okay. That is extremely bizarre. And this is all in Chinese. So I'm not sure what this is. I'm assuming it's directions. And it does look like an old AMD installer for a Radeon card. However, this installer has been gone for a while. Not sure how long exactly, but a while. So who knows what that actually says. I guess I could... this is not sealed on the end, which doesn't surprise me. This is... This card was originally purchased thinking it would go in a gaming system here in upstairs that my son is playing games on right now. So here we have the card. Kind of odd that we have a VGA on the end. I don't believe any of the GTX 1050s had a 15-pin VGA. We also have no display port, only HDMI and DVI-D. So my point is, or what I want to do here, is I'll pull this apart, clean it off, and see what this really is. This was $52. Took at least a month to get here. A large part of that month, or at least a while, has been in the United States, just bebopping around, not going anywhere too fast. Originated with China Post. We're going to go with a slightly larger tip here. I thought that we'd want this smaller one, but we don't. So this is just there's 4 screws holding the heatsink on. Aside from that, sticker on the back does say, actually it just says TX 1050. Underneath it, it does say GTX 1050, 2 gig, 128-bit, it's a memory bus, GDDR5, DP, DisplayPort, no, HDMI, DVI, so the sticker's wrong. And the reason I'm doing this is because prior to purchasing this, well, it's not going to work. My dad had purchased some GTX 750 Ti's. I believe he paid about $30 a piece. When they showed up, well, that's in there good. He gave me one. We determined they were, in fact, 550 Ti's. Now at 30 bucks a piece, honestly, a 550 Ti, for 30 bucks, it really isn't that bad of a deal. It just should have been, you know, advertised as what it actually was. The screw doesn't seem like it was actually put in very well. The other two were actually relatively difficult to remove. Obviously, I'm not trying not to strip these, as these will go back in. We do game. We also do some mining, so I do like to cool cards a little extra. So the garbage thermal paste that comes on a lot of these is just that garbage. So I like to go MX4. Add a little extra cooling, keep the cards alive longer. Yeah, that was barely on there, and that's why I like doing the cleaning. And so we have what certainly appears to be a 4-pin power on the board here, and 2-pin power, which probably means no actual fan speed control. The heatsink looks really rough. I don't know if you can see that there, but that's all dented up really. I mean, it should still work. It's just dented up really bad. As I clean this off and look at it with my horrible eyes, I do have a laptop over here that I'm going to, you know, research the actual chip on to verify what we have here. And we just have some 91% isopropyl alcohol here. I'm stuck to the packaging. This chip actually does not look like that old of a, like the way it's seated in here looks. Alright, there's some runoff there that appears to have been heated, as it is well stuck on. And I will I'll probably pause the video here and use the camera and try to get a good picture of this. Taiwan, let's say NVIDIA. That's something I noticed. Most of these cards will say NVIDIA right here. There's no backplate, just a board, which isn't uncommon on the 1050s. So what we have here actually is, let's see, well, we got a couple numbers. I'll fire up Google here and punch them in. I'll take a snip of this and put it in the video too. K106. I'm putting in the easier to read number here because, well, back to the horrible eyes. At any kind of close range, I do fine if I'm So this chip is actually a 650 Ti chip. Just out of curiosity, what is a GTX 650 Ti going for? Well, a Newegg GeForce GTX 650 Ti. New, I'm assuming. In stock, ships from the United States. I don't see anywhere where it says it's new. It still would have been an upgrade for his computer. He had a 520, a GS 520, I want to say, in his computer. These cards, however, this particular one says that it is 1 gig of RAM. This is a Corn brand. NVIDIA GeForce GT 1 gig. Okay, well, let's see if this was, because Because this, I mean, we've got 4 chips here. This definitely looks like these should be 512 megs piece chip. So, I mean, it looks like it is, in fact, 2 gig. The good news about that is we're not going to have lockups if we use this for any kind of gaming when the game tries to use more than what this is reporting. Same GeForce drivers should work just fine, so that's not the end of the world. I'm going to, like I said, pause the video and get a try to get a close-up of this chip. However, I will be going to the eBay seller and saying, you're selling well, I wouldn't say it's junk. Let me see if I can find a 2 gig card, because I'm just clicking the shop on Google. But being a TI, really 2 gig doesn't surprise me at all. Let's see. Let's see if we can't find a more. One thing this doesn't have, which, from what I'm seeing, it looks like the GTX 650 Ti with SLI. There's no SLI connector here. So my guess is this is somehow remanufactured or whatever. 2 gig card. Okay, we got one here on Newegg that says it is a 2 gig card. That's an EVGA that only has 2 DisplayPort, or DVI-D, and what looks like a mini HDMI. Yes, mini HDMI, 2 gig. So these were legitimately available with a 2 gig. So like I said, I'm going to pause the video, take some pictures of this. I'm going to get some snippets, some snips off of my screen here to add. And then, I guess we can fire this thing up eventually in a machine and see what it actually does. But it is, in fact, definitely not a 1050. It is a 650 Ti. Basically, I'm doing this video because I may have already said this too. I was unable to find any videos like this. There's a lot of videos like this regarding the 960s. The 960s are a lot of times 440s, which only have 1 gig of memory, and they're advertised and come up with the drivers as 4 gigs. So any game you use, any game you play when you're using this card or that card, when it exceeds that 1 gig of RAM that it actually has, Windows thinks it has 4. If your game exceeds that 1 gig, trying to hit that 4 gig limitation, it just locks up. So as long as this is reporting 2 gig of RAM, worst case scenario is the BIOS chip right here. Right here. I'm not sure which one it is. It's one of those two. Either way, there's a clip and stuff, a USB adapter and a clip that you can purchase. The e-clip on there, and you can rewrite the BIOS in this. If it reports through GPU-Z as a 1050, your computer is going to think that the BIOS is locked, like any of the 10 series GTX cards or NVIDIA cards. And then you can't just use I'm going to draw a blank here. The NVIDIA BIOS tool. It's not actually NVIDIA or anything like that. There's some crap on the card, but I might have done that. Okay, going to take a couple pictures of this stuff and then get back to putting it back together, and we'll go from there. Okay, it took a little longer than anticipated, but clean this off a little bit better. Did some research on the memory sticks on these. There, Alpedia, Micron. Of course, now I've misplaced my search results here. W2032 BBBG hyphen 60 hyphen F. From what I've seen, I'm a little confused though, because almost everything is saying that these four are 4 gig of RAM. There was a GTX 1070 Ti with 4 gig of RAM. That card right now, well, it wasn't the corn. That one's only got 1 gig of RAM. I know it's not 1 gig of RAM. I know these are at least 512s. And we are going to apply a little thermal goo and put this bad boy back together. And then we'll move on to actually getting it into a system. This video might take me, it's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time now. So this might take me a little bit. This is the always wonderful Arctic MX4 thermal compound. This stuff is really effective. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you just put a drop in it. I don't. Sorry, I've been doing this a really long time. And I haven't just thrown a glop on in many, many years. So I do use a, something with a straight edge. Couldn't find my, actually I ran into all kinds of bizarros getting ready to make this video. Got the tripod out. One of the legs was broke. Oh, great. So I get out the crazy glue, fix the leg. It's just a little holder, which isn't even, anyways, it's not falling down, so I'll shut up. Now it'll probably fall down. Got that crazy glued. Let it set, like you're supposed to. Got that set. Alright, we got a tripod. Put my phone in the tripod, in the holder. And after, I hope I didn't, well, this isn't a legit card anyways, I guess I don't care. This is one of those. You're pre-qualified for something you don't want cards. But it does have my name and some probably just random number on it. So I got my phone in there and the clip and came over this side and was seeing how I was getting to get that situated to start this, and it popped out and my phone went flying. Great. So then that broke. Back to the good old crazy glue. Looks pretty well where it belongs. If this was not stuck to that, it's actually probably something I should have done anyways. This heatsink is very divoted. It's not smooth. If I wanted to get really crazy, I could take it and machine it down nice and smooth, but I'm really not feeling that crazy about this. Partially because, well, I don't know what I'm doing with this. I don't know if I'm just gonna run it and let Windows just think that it's a 1050. It would be interesting. Typically, the NVIDIA cards, I would say we're a Team Green when it comes to gaming. But I use mostly AMD cards for mining. Specifically, I like to get the RX 460s. I can usually pick those up in really good shape used for under $100. I know that's, you know, basically pretty close to MSRP of a new cart, or what, you know, it should be. But with the times the way they are, here approaching the end of April 2018, our GPU prices are still way higher than they should be. I mean, a 1080 Ti is, you know, many hundreds of dollars over MSRP when they were new. We have to blur, edit that out. I don't know. I'll just keep an eye on GPU-Z and thermals. Other than that, I mean, this is, you know, the plastics on this aren't horrible. I'm a little concerned about the fan, just because it's a, you know, obviously it's a lower quality fan. It's a 2-pin instead of 4-pin, so there's not going to be the thermal control. It's not going to speed up as the card gets hot, slow down. It's just going to run full bore all the time. So I'm going to have to find a machine to pop this in, and you know, we'll see what we can actually get out of it. I do have a 2 gig GTX 1050, completely legit gigabit one. It's gigabit, whatever. It does good. Does a good job. Like I said, that's a gaming card. The Team Green stuff is definitely more for gaming. And that's it, reassembled. I'm just going to suck up 2 slots. Capacitors all look decent. I mean, all the soldering looks... I don't see anything that would indicate any kind of burns. Nothing looks broke. Good grief, I watched a video while I was searching for, you know, videos like this, because there are quite a few with other cards, especially the 960s that are actually 440s or 550s. And the 750 Ti's, sold as 750 Ti's, that are really 550 Ti's. If you're looking to get a 750 Ti, I hate to say this, but a Chinese 1050 is a 750 Ti. Still a little, you know, wondering still about the memory, if it is 2 gig or 4 gig. It's at least 2. It's going to report as 2, just because of the BIOS. It's going to report to Windows that it's a 1050.